our first card in our class. We're going to make this, and I've got a couple of fun tips and tricks for you. I'm going to start with a half sheet of Pretty Peacock. I will fold that in half, and then I'm going to add to it a 4 by 5 1/4 early espresso. And of course, when I'm calling out these measurements, they're all in your directions, so don't worry about that. All right, I'm also going to adhere a piece of printed paper, and I don't remember what the size of this one was. Oh, it's 3/4 by, or 3 3/4 by something, maybe 1 1/4. All right, and I'm going to set those 2 pieces aside. We're going to do a little stamping on a pool party that's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 5. Gosh, that took a lot of brain power. Now, I want to talk about this for just a moment. I cleaned off this stamp, and I think it's pretty clean. But I will tell you that when you're going to go in from, I used Cajun Craze on this last, for our card we just made. And then I'm going to go into my pool party. Pool party is a really light color. So I'm going to actually use maybe a darker color that's similar, like Bermuda Bay, for just a second, because what I want to do is avoid, I think it's okay, what I want to avoid is making sure that I got all that Cajun Craze ink off of my stamp before I dip it in my really light color. Okay, now this is from a lot of experience, and we're good to go. I'm not picking up any of that Cajun Craze ink, which can sometimes happen. Now, if you do have a problem with staining, what I definitely recommend is getting our new stamp pad cleaner, which I had out here, because I cleaned it off just a minute ago. What did I do with it? But that stamp pad cleaner does a really good job at getting off that excess ink stain. Oh my gosh, it's literally sitting next to me. So this does a really good job. You can see mine looks pretty gross, but it does a great job of getting stays-on ink off, as well as photopolymer staining off of your stamps. Okay, it doesn't get it completely off, but it does do a really good job. Okay, so I'm just stamping this wheat image kind of randomly all over my piece here. And where this, by the way, can really show up is when you stamp off, which is actually what we're going to do next. Now, I've die cut this piece, this stitched rectangle, and I'm going to stamp off my pool party on here, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to add my sentiment in Pretty Peacock ink. I'm just going to scooch that up for a second here. And I'm going to stamp it kind of right over on the far end. Wishing you well. So nice. Now, I'm going to take my triple banner punch, and I'm going to punch the end of this. Okay. And this is just kind of a fun way to add a little flag to even a stitched shape. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. And then we also are going to need some scraps of pool party and blah, blah, blah. Pretty Peacock. Gosh, I'm really struggling with that for some reason. Okay, so I'll stamp 1 pumpkin in Pool Party ink on Pool Party cardstock, and then another in Pretty Peacock ink on Pretty Peacock cardstock. And then I'm going to take the 2 pumpkin image and stamp that on here as well. I will go die cut all these pieces, and we'll be right back to put the card together. All right, guys, I've got my 3 pieces die cut. And by the way, what I was trying to say before when I was tongue twisted with the Pretty Peacock and Pool Party was that you have all those scrap pieces on the top of your pile in your cardstock packet if you had ordered one. All right, so to put this together, we're going to adhere our printed panel to our card, and then we will adhere that to the whole card. I think I might need to wash my hands. I've got so much ink on me. That's just kind of, I guess, a occupational hazard. All right, and then I'm going to line my little pumpkins up. And I don't know if you've seen this, but these pumpkins in these different colors are so, like, everywhere this fall. I love it, actually. I think it's really fun. And we're going to put that one on there. And the other thing you can do with these if you want is you can add a little, Clear Wink Stella to them if you want to make them sparkle. And then I'm just going to kind of tuck that right under there, like so. And you know what? I'm just going to add a little ribbon to this. I don't think it's actually in my directions, but why not? Okay, so I'm going to take and tie a little bow with my ribbon like this. This actually ties quite nicely. And I'm just going to add this to my card because I can. It's my card. I can change it up if I want. So you can either leave it like this or add this bow to it. Now here's how I'm going to adhere it. You can use glue dots, but I also kind of like putting kind of a strip of snail on there, and then it sort of tacks everything down a little bit. Okay, now one last touch. We've got some rhinestones in the holiday catalog that coordinate. And actually, I want the peacock ones, so never mind. Well, no, oh my gosh. So we have two sets of rhinestones. We've got the peacock ones, which are pretty peacock, or you could use these ones, which are kind of pool party. So either one will work. Now, if you don't have any of those, you can make your own by just coloring regular rhinestones with Stampin' Blend. So you can do whatever the heart desires. But I'm just going to add a couple of rhinestones to this as well, just to jazz it up a little. Because you know I like to be jazzy. All right, and then we'll put one right there. And that is my card.